Good day, citizens. It is 2:24 p.m. on 8/4/2021, and gonna make a quick video here. It's not gonna be too long. Um, just want to bring this up because a lot of attention is being brought to it right now, and I think it's very important if you're involved in crypto, and if you plan to be in this space or plan to get involved, this is information that you should know. And if you haven't been around a long time, I think you should do maybe a quick deep dive and search into the history of how the SEC has focused on coins and initial coin offerings, and how some projects have had to pay fines for the Bank Secrecy Act violations and for not getting the proper okay to have uh, initial offerings, and they classified them as securities, and a lot of these companies had to pay millions and some of them even billions of dollars. And this has been going on since 2000, and I think maybe ever since 2009 2010 when Bitcoin first popped up. New York kind of first was on the forefront to get in, and they created this thing called a bit license. And as you know, here we are over a decade later, and we still do not have clear legal uh, guidance on this, and it's kind of ridiculous. So, the new hot topic that's out there in the world is brought to you by this guy, the United States Congressman Don Bayer. He's Virginia's 8th district. He is a representative. He is a congressman, and I'm going to read his quote right here, and it says, "Innovation in the digital asset sector is creating new goods and services every day, as well as many new, high quality jobs. The United States should provide a legal and regulatory environment which promotes this type of innovation and growth. Digital assets and blockchain technology hold great promise, and it is clear that assets like Bitcoin and Ether are here to stay. Unfortunately, the current digital asset market structure and regulatory framework is ambiguous and dangerous for investors and consumers. Digital asset holders have been subjected to rampant fraud, theft, and market manipulation for years. Yet Congress has hitherto ignored the entreaties of industry, experts, and federal regulators to create a comprehensive legal framework. Our laws are behind the times, and my bill would start the long overdue process of updating them to give digital asset holders and investors basic protections." Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and you can say we've been in the wild wild west days, and just as in the wild wild west days, you could strike gold, and eventually, gold got regulated and put in coin form, right? It wasn't always gold nuggets. You don't find gold nuggets these days. It's usually dust, and then they stamp it into these gold eagles or other gold coins, right? And it's regulated as a commodity. It's paper traded as a ETF. Um, what have we been trying to push for in crypto? A Bitcoin ETF. This is this is the devil knocking at the door. You know what I mean? And it's coming. Regulation is coming. I do agree with the congressman here, and I've actually had the chance to talk to another politician from Virginia. His name is I believe Nicholas Freitas. I think that's how you say his name. He's a veteran. It was awesome to hear what he had to say about crypto, and just as one of the guys chewing the fat, you know what I mean. Um, but I'm gonna link the bill here, and if it is getting passed, I think some of this stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a law degree, but some of this stuff can be taken in different ways, because let me see if I can find it here. It says digital asset security in general. The term digital asset security means a digital asset that provides the holder of the digital asset with any of the following rights: equity or debt interest in the issuer, which I don't really know too many coins that do that. Now, networks can do that. So, are we gonna who exactly is the issuer? Is it the network, or are you calling it? It's not a person. So some of this stuff a little bit above my head, but I'll go ahead and I'll read some more. Right to profits, interest, or dividend payments from the issuer. So let's talk about that here. Um, those of you old XRP, rights to profits. When you become a agent, does that then turn Flare into a security? If we are staking on Binance or Sushi or Uniswap or any other holding any other coin that is on a staking network, um, we don't really have rights to profits. We belong to pools that give us profits, that we acquire interest. Um, but that's not from a person. Once again, that's from a blockchain. So how is that going to fall in line? You understand what I'm saying? We also says voting rights in the major corporate actions, which shall not include new block creations, hard forks, or protocol changes related to the digital asset of the issuer. Now, this one I like. This one I think I can read. Voting rights in the major corporate actions. Now, to me, this screams that XRP is kind of being maybe singled out here. You don't have voting rights in the major corporate actions if you own XRP. You have no control over Ripple whatsoever. So, kind of something to compare that to. Also, if you look at it, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you don't got no voting rights to anything with those coins either. So that kind of aligns to me with the SEC's mission statement of what they've said before. And what do they call that? Set precedent. And then we have here liquidation rights in the event of the issuer's liquidations. Now, I stake in Meld. I'm interested to see how this will play into the blockchain, and then we'll follow up with in the case of an issuer with a service, goods, or platform that is not wholly operational at the time of issuing such digital asset with respect to any fundraising or capital formation activity, including initial coin offerings, which is accomplished through the issuance of such a digital asset, issues such digital asset to a holder in return for money, including other digital assets to fund the development of the proposed service, goods, or platform of the issuer. Now that right there, that opens up a whole can of worms to me, because let's say you have an initial stake offering like Sunday Swap is trying to do with Cardano or Meld. How is that gonna play in, and what exactly do they mean by liquidation rights? You get what I'm saying? Some of the stuff, it's a little bit above my head, so but I'm going to read it to keep reading it to you. And then it says B, rule relating to digital assets. The term digital asset security does not include any digital asset other than the digital assets described in subparagraph A. Any digital asset not described in subparagraph A shall be considered to be and regulated as a commodity under the Commodity Exchange Act. And I think right now that's what most of us are in the tax code being taxed under. We're holding these as commodities, and we're paying taxes on them. And then we'll follow up, and it says delayed registration for digital asset securities. Section 12G 1 of Securities Exchange Act 1934, 15 USC 781, blah blah numbers, is amended in subparagraph A, and then section II by striking "and" at the end, and in paragraph B by inserting "and" after persons. I think this is just adding in the lingo and applying the digital landscape to this. And then it says by inserting the following: in the case of an issuer of digital asset security, not later than 120 days after the last day of the third fiscal year in which the issuer first has total assets exceeding $10 million and a class of equity security other than a exempt security held of record by 2,000 or more persons. Now, we know a lot of cryptos have more than 2,000 people that hold them. That is a given. And I'm going to read this one here. And it says, desecuritization of digital asset securities. Now, this is where I think most people will want to hear this information. It says, Section 12G, Securities Exchange Act of 1934, blah, 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 numbers again, is amended by, go ahead and read. I'll read them because somebody might want to look this up if you're listening in the car. 15 USC 7881G is amended by adding at the end of the following: 7, or Section 7, desecuritization of digital asset securities, registration of any class of digital asset security pursuant to the subsection or status as a security or both shall be terminated 90 days or such shorter period as the Commission may determine after the issuer files a desecuritization certification with the Commission. The, the desecuritization certification shall demonstrate that the issuer serving goods or platform are fully operational and that the digital asset does not provide holders of such digital assets with any of the rights specified in subclauses 1 through 4 of section 3A 82A. The Commission shall, after notice and opportunity for hearing, deny termination of registration or change in status as a security or both if it finds that the desecuritization certification is untrue. Termination of registration or change in status or both shall be deferred pending final determination on the question of denial. A digital asset security so desecuritized shall be considered to be and regulated as a commodity under the Commodity Exchange Act 7 USC 1A ET questions sequence. And then it says here we have section 104, joint SEC and CFTC rulemaking on major digital asset classification. And it says here the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 is amended by adding at the end the following. And now I'll continue to read section 105, joint SEC and CFTC rulemaking on major digital asset classification. In general, not later than 150 days after the date of the enactment of this section, the Commission and Commodity Futures Trading Commission shall jointly publish for the purpose of a 60-day public comment period a proposed rulemaking that classifies each of the major digital assets by I, highest market capitalization, and I, highest daily trade of them as either a digital asset or a digital asset security. Final rule, not later than 270 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission shall jointly publish a final rule that classifies each of the major digital assets by I, highest market capitalization cap, and I, highest daily average trading volumes as a digital asset or 2, a digital asset security. Now, certain big crypto guys, way bigger than me, that have millions of followers and thousands of followers, wink wink, said we may have a Black Swan event in the future. I don't really dive in that rabbit hole, but let's think about this here. You pretty much just heard me read, and this is my interpretation. The government has just stepped in and said, hey, we're going to make some rules, but hey, we're going to have a hit list. And I think this is going to be like the naughty and nice list, and they're going to lay those out, and it's going to be like, hey, these are the big boys that make the most money. We're going to give them a pass. And then these little guys, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I just interpreted that, because when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the money. In their eyes, there's more to life than money. When we're talking theoretically and philosophically, but we all know we're here to make money, and people need money to get by. And this is Big Brother. I think they're kind of saying, hey, we're trying to help you out, but really what they're doing is slapping us in the face. How are they going to look at Pancake? Like I said, how are they going to look at Dexes? How are they going to look at DAOs? And my question goes, how the fuck are you going to stop them? The only way they can stop them is saying, what's the next step? Where's your crypto come from? You know what I mean? Like, this is trying to put the genie back in the bottle. But we'll continue on that. I want to continue reading here. Scroll down here a little bit. I'm going to leave a link to this, and you'll be able to read this on your own leisure if you choose to. And there's another section here I wanted to read. A lot of it's mumbo jumbo about them pulling up the old law from 1934 and adding in more electronical and digital and computer science related terminology. But we'll read this one here. Let me get back to the top, and it says, this is section 114, and it says, Securities and Investors Protection Act of 1970. In general, definition of security, section 16, 14, of the Securities Investor Protection Act of 1970, 15 USC 7811114 is amended by inserting digital asset security after investment contract. And then it says by inserting digital asset security after if such investment contract. Like I said, they're changing the terminology. And let me skip where they're adding in, and it says commodity exchange terms. Um, Commodity Exchange Act terms. The terms commodity, digital asset trade, repository, and virtual currency have meanings given such terms respectively in Section 1A of the Commodity Exchange. Digital asset security, the term digital asset security has a meaning given such term in Section 3A of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. And it says no later than 90 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Securities Investor Protection Corporation shall make publicly available on the website of the corporation a notice regarding the status of digital assets and digital asset securities and how much status impacts security investors protection corporate insurance coverage, and that digital assets are not deposits and digital asset securities are in almost all cases not securities, and neither would be covered by securities investors protection corporate insurance regardless of whether A, an uninsured bank, savings association, or credit union holds the digital assets or digital asset securities, or B, a broker or dealer as defined in the Section 3A of the Securities Exchange Act of, once again, 1934, 15 USC 78CA, holdings the digital assets or digital asset securities. Now, for you who are kind of new and you might have came in with the Robinhood and the Dogecoin pump, I see you Robinhood guys. You may not know that the Office of the Comptroller for the U.S. government came out I believe a year ago, might be less, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, and they released a letter to banks and to the public saying that banks have the right to custody cryptocurrencies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with this clarity and after they publish this list, will you be able to store your crypto at the bank? Would you want to? A lot of us live by the motto, not your keys, not your crypto. You know what I mean? Not your keys, not your coins. A lot of us live by that. But are we going to hit this middle point here with fintech and FinCEN and with the IMF and the world governments, and are we going to put our crypto in the bank? Because I mean, for some people that's going to be nice. I mean, let's think about it. Not all of us are technocratic individuals and have cyberpunk mentalities and understand all this stuff. Let's think of the older generation. Maybe you're 45, 50, 55, 60, and you say, hey, I want to get into that digital stuff, but I don't know much about it. Can you teach me? Well, maybe us, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to get a job at the bank wearing a suit and teaching people. Hey, that'd be pretty cool, right? I'd actually dig that. But it also takes the responsibility of them holding their keys, because not everybody's going to be able to. A lot of people get mixed up with this seed phrase and these alphanumeric wallet addresses. You know what I mean? Let's be honest, not everybody can compute what's going down. They're not tracking what we're saying. They're just not getting it. You know what I mean? So I think like the senator or the congressman here said, apologize, call him senator. Like he said, it's without these clarity, we are holding back innovation in the digital asset sector. His words, and it is holding back while we are creating new goods and services. It is kind of a deterrent. And if this bill passes, it will give us a foundation and it will give us a stepping stone. And playing devil's advocate here, knocking on the door. We can always change these laws. We can always make our voice be heard. And I think it's right to try to do the right thing. Let's be a nerd here. Jedi, do the right thing. Mandalorian, do the right thing. In general, karma, do the right thing. A lot of us who got into crypto early are libertarian and we believe in liberty. A lot of us are fighters too, so we'll understand that even if they try to push too hard, there will always be ways to fight back. But there's always ramifications and repercussions of that, so you should stand by and be advised of that. But I think this is a necessary step, and I don't think it's something to be feared. I think it's something we have to go through. We have to ride this wave, And this bill here is 53 pages long. Apologies, 58 pages long. It's a lot of hoo ha humba. Um, I don't understand why they have to put this in with the infrastructure. I don't understand why they have to make shit so hard to read. I don't consider myself lowly educated, but I can get the gist of some of this stuff, even though some of it is above my head in terms of legality. Um, but I just wanted to put this information out there, and when you hear these people talking about all this FUD and fear and this and that, this is what they're talking about, and I want to give it to you straight. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you want to read more about it, uh, hey, I'll leave a link below. I'll leave a link to the article where the congressman said this, and I'll also leave a link to the congressman's page if you want to see what he looks like later on if you're listening in the car or something. You ladies and gentlemen, you have a good day. And if you're interested in me really reading through all this crap, uh, maybe all 58 pages, let me know. If, enough people actually like or start subscribing, I don't mind actually reading the whole thing. But as of right now, I'm not gonna do that. Y'all have a good one and take care of yourself. Bye.